guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm coming at you from our 1966 Aristocrat lowliner that Trey restored. It's a vintage trailer, and we are in wine country, and we're going to show you some tips for doing wine country on a budget. This is off season, which is one of my first tips. So we are here at the end of December. We're going to be ringing in the new year in wine country, and we are in Lake County, which is just north of Napa. And it's a really underrated wine region, highly volcanic soil. There's a huge lake here. Clearlake is actually the largest lake in California, and it's the oldest lake in North America. So our first stop for camping here is a Harvest Host. And if you've never heard of Harvest Host, you pay a yearly fee, registration fee or membership fee, and then you are given a list of different places that you can stay overnight, either wineries or breweries, farms, museums. There's a huge list of places. So this is our first time using it, and we are here in Kelseyville. We are at the Chacewater Olive Oil and Wine Company. So this is the view outside of our trailer. That's the Chacewater Winery over there. Just behind it in the clouds is Mount Konocti, a dormant volcano, which we hope to hike while we're here. And then over here there's picnic area, bocce ball, and horseshoes. One thing that they ask when you use Harvest Host is that you kind of spend a little bit of your money at the place where you're staying. So here they have olive oil tasting and wine tasting, which we are going to do in a little bit. But it's lunchtime and we're pretty hungry, so we are just going to head into town and have a lunch real quick. The requirements for Harvest Host are that you must have a self-contained RV and no tents are allowed. We're just walking to lunch. It's not very far from where we're staying. We had a really good meal at Sawshop Public House. It's very popular, so you may need reservations. They have a great wine list with local wines, too. After lunch, we wandered across the street to a place that caught Trey's eye, the Lady Luck Garage. It's an auto museum where everything is for sale. Chuck, the owner, was really friendly and let us look around. The building is really cool and the cars are even cooler. It's a functioning garage, and they're working on a SEMA show build right now.
Cheers, it's gonna get real Pilsner.
Oh, wow.
That's a full custom message.
Definitely stop in at Lady Luck Garage. You may just find your dream car.
What can I get for you?
I'm not never something red. I don't know. That's a very Italian thing.
Yes.
Oh, that's rosemary.
Be honest. I don't know. I did say. Darn it. Blues. Did you like the other side? I'm gonna invite it for you. I like it.
Chacewater offers olive oil and wine tasting, and they have a really nice selection of organic wines.
So, Mary, is there a deal for birthday month?
That was a successful wine tasting.
So we're leaving our wine tasting. We joined the wine club. Plus I got this wine.
There was the wine tasting room. And there's home.
So that was one of the best wine tasting experiences I've ever had. We had a lot of fun there. We ended up joining the wine club and got a couple bottles of wine. We headed back to the camper. And it's dinner time, so we went back downtown and we went to John's Taqueria and got some really yummy looking authentic tacos, which we're going to eat now. So we're just going to enjoy our dinner and then probably do a little reading and then go to sleep. So we'll catch you guys in the morning. Good morning. We woke up to a pretty rainy day here. There was no view of the volcano, so I think we're going to save that hike for another time. It's about a 7-mile hike, and if we get all the way up there and can't see anything, it's probably not worth it. So we're going to take you around and show you some other things. We're here at Clearlake State Park, and they have a little marina here for the Clear Lake. They also have camping and cabins, and we'll show you and tell you more about those. There are a handful of cabins for rent at Clearlake State Park. They have electricity, heaters, air conditioning, lights, and fans, and they're $60. There are 4 different campgrounds with dry camping. Some are directly on the lake. There are flush toilets and showers, as well as boat ramps, marinas, and a swimming area. The sites are $30, and day use is $8. We had a nice walk along one of the many nature trails in the park. Pooped. So we're pretty impressed with this Clear Lake State Park. There's a lot of camping here, tent camping, and then of course the cabins that you saw. There's a lot of nature trails. We just did a short nature trail around the slough and saw all kinds of birds. There's longer trails here too. But we just got up and left early this morning because this is the least amount it's going to rain today, so we thought we should get out and go for a little walk. I think we're going to head back into town, which is only about 3 miles from here, just over 3 miles, and get some breakfast. The sun was still out when we got back to the trailer, so we played a couple rounds of bocce ball. They provide the balls there. As you can see, we've had just about every place to ourselves, and that's what I love about traveling in the off-season. We've come down the road a little bit to Anderson Marsh State Park, and it's a historic park. There's an old ranch here. We're going to have a look around. There's some trails, but it's kind of muddy, so I don't know how far we're going to make it on the trails. But we'll take you around, show you what there is to see. It's a really gnarly tree here. Crazy. So that was a nice walk on the trails here. and it was a little bit muddy and flooded in some spots, but not impassable. The ranch itself was a little bit disappointing because you couldn't really get into any of the buildings, and the ranch house itself, they even had curtains on all the windows you couldn't even peek in, so that was kind of a bummer. I assume they open it in the summer on some days, I'm not sure, but you might check that before you come visit here. But the trails are really nice, we did enjoy that. The first trail that we took followed Cache Creek, and just on the other side of Cache Creek is another campground where you can stay in wine country. It's called Clearlake Campground, and I'll insert some footage from when we've stayed there in the past. You can rent boats there, and actually you can go all the way out to Clear Lake from that creek there. It's a cute little vintage campground. They have a swimming pool, and they have glamping tents that you can rent and stay in, and waterfront sites, which is what we've had there. That's really nice. I'll leave a link below on the Clear Lake Campground. So we're finished here, and now we're going to head off to our next camping spot, which is another Harvest Host. It's called Six Sigma Ranch, and it's a little ways out there. It's pretty remote, so we're going to make sure we have all of our supplies ready and then head out the long dirt road to get there. Six Sigma is a 4,300-acre ranch with vineyards. It was once a stagecoach stop and has a long history. The owners have researched the ownership of the ranch going back to the mid-1800s, and they have some really interesting stories to tell. Now the ranch is a sustainable farm and vineyard. They sell meat from the ranch on the premises, and they make wine from the grapes grown on the ranch. So we made it to Six Sigma Ranch. It was a little bit muddy coming in. They're really friendly, and they gave us this whole pamphlet of information and maps. Really cool. We found a spot here. It's really private. As soon as we got leveled and got inside, it just started pouring down rain. So it's raining right now. We're just in here eating a little ramen lunch. And then we'll go over to the tasting room and do some tasting. They do vineyard tours here in this Pinzgauer behind me. And we signed up for a tour tomorrow. We did it a few years ago. It's a lot of fun. You go way up to the top vineyard and you do some wine tasting. So if the weather permits, tomorrow we'll get to do that and take you along. We're going to head inside now and do some tasting.
And we try, a few restaurants over there as well, and of course the casinos.
You're so fancy. So we just finished our tasting there. It was really nice. They were really friendly. And this place is also a farm or ranch. So we got some beef while we were in there. It's actually beef bacon, which we've never heard of. So we'll try that probably later on in the trip. And then we got a couple bottles of wine. They had a really good red blend that we picked up. And then a bottle of rosé. So we have both of those to enjoy. I think we're going to enjoy the red blend tonight. We have a bunch of cheese. So we're going to have a little charcuterie. And they leave the lights on up there after they close, and they said we could go up there and use the area. So we might just do that, or if it's still pouring down rain, which it is right now, we might just have dinner in the trailer.
Get the whole place to ourselves. Lit up and heated.
So everyone's gone home for the night, and it's raining. They left the lights on for us, so we have a heater back here, and we're just gonna have a little charcuterie dinner and enjoy some of our newly purchased wine. Sink in. Good morning. We had a great night's sleep here last night. It's so quiet. It poured down rain all night though. The road was already kind of muddy coming in, so it might be a little bit slippery going out. Luckily we have a good truck with good tires, and we'd planned on and booked doing that Pinzgauer tour today, this morning about 10 o'clock. And they said if it's too muddy they'll cancel it, but they have something else up their sleeves for us, so we might, no matter what, we'll get a pretty cool adventure out of it, and we'll take you along. But I really love this spot here. It's so quiet and so private. There's another one behind the barn there that you can stay in. We like this one because it was the least muddy for getting in and out, and I'm glad we picked it because it rained so much last night. So we'll show you around a little bit here. It's a shame that it's so muddy and wet because they have 14 miles of trails here for mountain bike and hiking, which would just be amazing to do. But it's not going to happen on this trip. But we'll show you the rest of it. It's a really cool place. The Pinzgauer is an all-terrain Austrian military vehicle, and they do vineyard tours on Saturdays for up to 10 people. It includes a wine tasting flight, and the cost is $25. And in my opinion, it's one of the highlights of visiting wine country in Lake County. Trey's already trying to figure out how he can get one of these home. Make a pretty cool overland rig. Not going very fast though, huh?
No, you have to hop it up.
Pretty cool. Once you cross the bridge, there's a few more camping spots over here for Harvest Host. It's all the way back there. And these are right on the creek.
This is our Asbill Valley Sauvignon Blanc. I'll turn. There you go.
Thank you.
So
So we've started our morning wine tasting with a Sauvignon Blanc, and the road is a little too muddy to go up to the vineyard to do the tasting, so we are going to do a wine cave tour and do some barrel tasting, which is really a treat. We still get to ride the Pinzgauer, which Trey is super excited about, but we'll take you along.
They hadn't done a Jeep truck for a long time. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go. And so these are unfinished wines, so they'll be a little bit more sharp and so forth.
The cave tour and barrel tasting were a real treat, and it's something they usually only offer to their wine club members. It was really amazing to have this experience all to ourselves.
This is a cave painting by a famous artist who happens to be a club member. He's always wanted to do a cave painting, and so when he saw we had a cave, he said, hey, this needs to happen. So he spent about a month down here, and it's made in the style of original cave paintings. So it ties in. And lastly, the family grandkids have their handprints.
Oh, that's great.
It's something that the old cave painters did as well. They were
What's the name of the artist? Do you know?
Ben, what's his last name? It's kind of really complicated.
Okay. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Hard to get in there, huh?
There you go.
Thank you.
Bordeaux is a Bordeaux varietal. It's one of the 5. This one's usually used as a blender.
Perfect.
And so it's very dark blend with the other wines. You can add some color and some complexity by doing that.
When we got back to the tasting room, we had a little local cheese, and I finished my tasting flight. They're working with a company from France developing Hutopia on the ranch. It's a glamping village with lots of amenities. Look for that to open in the near future. You found some good tips for visiting Lake County wine country on a budget. Be sure to subscribe and follow along for more tips as we head to Napa Valley wine country. Thanks for watching.